This is from MSNBC this morning. Go ahead.
It looks at the gravity of the situation from 20,000 feet. It echoes some things my father was telling me before he passed away. You write in part this: Trump is harming the dream of America more than any foreign adversary ever could, in which he charts the course from Bush to Obama to Trump. This is your writing, Joe. This is describing your column. And a country that went from a huge surplus to racking up unparalleled deficits while squandering moral leadership. And here's the column. 16 years of strategic missteps have been followed by the maniacal moves of a man who has savaged America's vital alliances, provided comfort to hostile foreign powers, attacked our intelligence and military communities, and lent a sympathetic ear to neo-Nazis and white supremacists across the globe.
Let us just stop there. So he writes this dribble. Of course, the Washington Post can't wait to publish it. And just look at this. A sympathetic ear to neo-Nazis and white supremacists. Donald Trump. When Donald Trump is the only president who had the guts to deport that 95-year-old Nazi. When Donald Trump has been the best friend Israel has ever had in terms of American presidents, recognizing its actual capital is Jerusalem, moving the embassy to Jerusalem, abandoning the Iran deal, which was in our national security interests and our allies, including Israel, closing the PLO office yesterday because of the way the PLA and Hamas are conducting themselves, refusing to fund parts of the UN effort because of the use of our monies to subsidize terrorism and to subsidize what has become a welfare state there. It's really quite awful. The President of the United States does not deserve this. The President of the United States has done nothing that the neo-Nazis would support or the white supremacists would support. He's constantly talking about criminal justice reform, whether you agree with it or not. He has done what he can economically on his own to grow the economy, particularly in our metropolitan areas, which are the poorest of the areas, among the poorest of the areas, and are heavily populated by minorities. It's just outrageous. He hasn't attacked our intelligence and military communities. He's attacked those people who interfered with our election. The top levels of those people who interfered in our election. In terms of the military community, he is trying to rebuild the military, which was horribly undermined by the prior administration. So this is just really awful stuff. And to time it on 9/11, to write something like this is really a perverse mind, and for the Washington Post to run it is par for their disgusting course. Go ahead.
For those of us still believing that Islamic extremists hate America because of the freedoms we guarantee to all people, the gravest threat Trump poses to our national security is the damage done daily to America's image.
I don't even know what that means. But notice Scarborough does not have the guts to write his piece about the Islamic extremists, who they are, why they are who they are, what it is that they take out of the Quran that causes these jihadists to have the kind of mentality they have. He has no guts to tackle that. Others have, I have, but he'd rather somehow turn 9/11 into an attack on Donald Trump. It's just so appalling. Go ahead.
As the New York Times' Roger Cohen wrote the month after Trump's election, America is an idea. Stripped freedom, human rights, democracy, and the rule of law from what the United States represents to the world, and America itself is gutted.
America is not gutted by Donald Trump. Again, this is on 9/11. This is intended for 9/11. America gutted by Donald Trump. Does Donald Trump talk about fundamentally transforming America? Does Donald Trump trash the American institutions or support them? Is Donald Trump critical of those who take a knee, a symbolic knee, during the national anthem? Let me ask you this. Do the members of the military, members of law enforcement, federal, state, and local, do you think they prefer Donald Trump or Barack Obama? Go ahead.
Osama bin Laden was killed by SEAL Team 6 before he accomplished that goal. Other tyrants who tried to do the same were consigned to the ash heap of history. The question for voters this fall is whether their country will move beyond this troubled chapter in history, or whether they will continue supporting a politician who has done more damage, and listen to this, more damage to the dream of America than any foreign adversary.
Leave that there. So he has his soon-to-be wife reading his op-ed that's in the Washington Post. Has Donald Trump done more damage to the dream of America than any of our adversaries? This is quite sad. I know where Scarborough gets this. He steals the language from me, where I have said that Barack Obama has done more damage to this country than the Russians. The way he interfered with our election through his various instrumentalities of government, the FBI, the Department of Justice, the CIA, among others. The way he turned this country upside down. We were far more united when Obama was elected, first elected, than when he left office. The attacks on our free market capitalist system, the attacks on the rule of law when it comes to immigration and sanctuary cities, and I can go on and on. So Scarborough steals that language, turns it around, uses it on Trump on 9/11. He has no sense, he has no class, and the truth is he has no say on his show in terms of its effect on the national mindset. They will continue supporting a politician who's done more damage to the dream of America than any foreign adversary ever could. So if Iran gets nukes with ICBMs that can hit our cities, they're less threatening to our dream than Donald Trump. This is absolutely perverse, absolutely perverse. So on 9/11, on MSNBC, and for the Washington Post, it's important to hear from Joe Scarborough, who's a nobody. They turn 9/11 into an attack on Trump. They do this on every occasion and with every event. I wish I didn't have to discuss this today, but I have to.